Hi everyone. I'm finally posting my timeline. I don't know if you can see the whole thing or not. As you can see, it's kind of a hodgepodge of things, pictures and goals. This is just the best way for me to show where I've been and where I'm going. Um, and I know it does look kind of random. uh, but it's my way of reminding myself not only of what my goals are, but of why it's so important for me to achieve my goals. This was designed by my just turned 4-year-old grandson. Um, and then, of course, I added all the sticky tags. He put all the pictures on here for me, and the snowflakes. um, I'm much more creative on the computer than I am in any artistic way or musically, as you can see. But I thought that this was a good reminder of where I am and where I'm going. So let me explain this a little bit so you would understand. Um, First of all, this picture, that's actually me in the middle with my brother and sister in San Francisco. I believe it's 1963. I was 5 or 6 years old. I think 6. Now, my sister points out in the picture that I'm grabbing onto their hands and that I was kind of a control freak. Now, I don't believe that I was ever a control freak, but my sister says I was. But the reason I mention that is because when we write our stories about our families, it's so interesting how each of us has such a different perspective, which is what makes our stories unique. And that gets me to why my goal has always been to become a writer ever since I was a little girl. And I was struggling to learn to read because of dyslexia and a vision impairment. I come from a brilliant family. My mom was the most avid reader I ever knew. I grew up in a house of books. And I was so fortunate and lucky for that. But unfortunately, I struggled to learn to read, even though I loved stories. And I could memorize every song I heard on the radio. When I finally overcame this, I was in about 3rd grade. And once I learned to read, I couldn't get enough of it. It was just stories, stories, stories. And I was just reading. I became a real avid reader. English was always my best subject in school. It was the only subject I could pass with an A outside of music. So I went through a lot of struggles. I used to make up stories off the top of my head and tell them to anybody who'd listen and orchestrate these interesting make-believe plays where we would play out roles in the neighborhood, with the kids in the neighborhood. So sometimes they were based on shows or movies or something. And so this is just kind of a reminder of my past. And this is more the present. This is my fun, crazy family last Christmas, and I grew up in San Francisco in the 1960s, so I took a picture of baby Jeremiah, baby Jay, my grandson, in front of one of these wonderful lit up peace symbols at one of those Christmas lights displays. But here I said, I don't know if this is looking backwards to you. So this is what it's all about and where it came from. And then I actually put in time suck and my day job in here because as life went on, my goal was always to be a writer, and I wanted to write children's stories because I loved them so much. That was my lifetime goal. But unfortunately, my life didn't work out quite the way I expected it to. I struggled. I got married kind of young and eloped and had kids and ended up being a single mom before I was 30 with 3 kids. And I had to support them. And I used to type a lot of stuff on a manual typewriter, like pound away, and I used to just send them off to people like letters, but I didn't save them, unfortunately. So I did write a lot, but I never did anything with it, um, which was really my problem because I've been writing my whole life. The claim to fame that I have is as in fifth grade, I actually had a story win a prize with Junior Scholastic magazine. It was called Smokey the Cat. It was about a cat that could talk. I've always been a big animal lover too. So, anyways, I digress. So this kind of depicts different things in my life. I'm having a hard time with this. Let's see. Um, so what I've done is start off with where I've come from here. And looking at this gives me a reminder of why it's so important for me to achieve these goals, which is pitch, travel, ukulele pieces, which is something new that I've added since the beginning of the semester, and pitch at least one piece a week. I did pitch for the column in San Francisco Chronicle. Like I said, I don't know. I wrote the 200 word pitch, and I submitted a couple of my examples. And even though I probably won't get it, and I don't expect to, just the fact that I actually submitted was a good goal